Hello, everybody. It's Maya Joy again. And today we're going to speak about living at a higher frequency, living at a higher vibration, and just some little things that you can do and practice to help you live a higher vibrational life. First and most important thing, if you're wanting to live at a higher frequency, which essentially means living more in alignment with your heart and soul, then I think it really starts in how you treat yourself. Because how we treat other people and how we sort of interact in the world, it kind of begins within us and then it moves outward. So if you want to live at a higher frequency, start by being kind to yourself in whatever that means to you. But start treating yourself like your own best friend. Start within your own mind by speaking more lovingly to yourself. This can be in the smallest way. When you wake up in the morning, you can tell yourself in your mind, today's going to be a wonderful day. You're going to be supported by life today. And the only thing you need to do today is to carry love in your heart and see others through the eyes of love or whatever. That's maybe how I might speak to myself in the morning. But, start with being kind to yourself. Start with saying no to things that you don't really want to do. Start with being gentle with your physical body. Start with wearing the clothes that you love that truly express your individuality. Start in your relationship with yourself. Start by being more kind, more loving to you, and that's going to make you a happier person. That's going to make you so much more of a happier person, and that's going to raise your frequency a lot, because if you're not kind to yourself and you just, from the moment you wake up in the morning, you're telling yourself that you're ugly or you're stupid or, you're not enough, and you force yourself to do all kinds of things that you don't want to do, then you're going to be constantly depleted and you're going to feel constantly down, and it's going to make it more difficult to live in the vibration of love and joy and things like that. Start by attempting to carry around a feeling of love and respect for yourself in your heart, and then expand it outwards. Like, maybe that's all you need to do to raise your frequency. If you're just going to do one thing, start by focusing on love and respect for yourself and others. Okay, number one thing. The number two thing to raise your frequency is act intentionally. I think sometimes our frequency can become lowered or our stress can raise when we go through life mindlessly, when we start just doing this, that, and we don't even know what we're doing and we're not present in the moment and we're just going through the motions. Let's say that you're getting up in the morning. Instead of just like in a daze wandering into the bathroom and just brushing your teeth or whatever, it's like being intentional. I'm going to brush my teeth, and while I brush my teeth, I'm going to enjoy the taste of my toothpaste and the sensation of the clean feeling in my mouth and stuff like that, and just slowing down enough that everything that you do is intentional. And, when you're interacting with others too, like interacting intentionally, interacting where you're present enough to like actually look in that person's eyes and see their soul, that type of thing. Yeah, that's definitely a part of living at a higher frequency. It's just being intentional with everything that you're doing, being intentional with your day itself. My intention for this hour is to promote a sense of peace within myself and around me. So my intention in this moment is to feel a sense of peace, to feel a sense of contentment or whatever that may be, but be very intentional. That will help you to raise your frequency. It's going to be so good. So good. Such a good spiritual practice. Also, if you're attempting to raise your frequency, follow your intuition. First of all, that's just a lot of fun, and it will bring you into a space of synchronicity if you start to follow like where your heart is leading you and where your intuition is leading you. I feel like whenever we go with what our mind is telling us to do, not all the time. I mean, there are certain times to listen to your mind, like when you're doing your taxes or things like that. But on a whole, like if we just follow what our mind is telling us, a lot of times it can pull us out of alignment with our soul. But what does raise our frequency is when we follow our heart, when we go with what our heart really wants in all different ways. This can be in any area of your life, and how you speak to someone, and even in how you do your shopping. I encourage you, when you're at the grocery store, instead of saying, I have to eat this, or I should eat this, or I should buy this, do you feel that? I should do that. That is not a high frequency. That's not the highest frequency. You know what I'm saying? But if you go with like, my heart is longing for this, and I love myself and value myself enough to make the choice that my heart is desiring, can you feel it? Like, it's a higher frequency. It's a higher frequency. So follow your intuition when possible. When you have a choice between logic or intuition, or also we can think of it as fear or love, go with the intuition, go with the love. Yes. And if you have like a lot of free time and you don't have any plan, just ask, what is my heart longing to do in this moment? And then go do it. And that's going to raise your frequency. Oh, yes. Another thing that will raise your frequency is being authentic to who you are, giving yourself permission to be who you are. If you love pumpkin spice lattes, then drink them up and enjoy every bit of it. But if you don't, then don't try to fit yourself into that box of what you're expected to be. Be who you are. Dress in a way that's authentic to you. Speak in a way that's authentic to you. Live in a way that's authentic to you. Don't suppress who you are to fit in. Be more you. Be more you. Give yourself permission to be you. Everybody loves people that are authentic. Everybody loves people that are authentic, yet so few of us give ourselves permission to be authentic. And that is a really sad thing. So figure out who you are and how you want to express yourself and do it. This means speaking authentically as well. I think sometimes people think that to live at a higher frequency, like we must only speak from love and only say nice things and stuff like that. But I actually think it helps to keep our frequency high when we just honor how we really feel. Sometimes we don't feel that good. Sometimes you just gotta be like, yeah, today, I don't know why, but I'm just feeling down, or maybe you do know why. Sometimes you gotta cry. And by being there present with your real emotional process as it is occurring, it allows us to keep our frequency high and clear. Another way to live at a higher frequency is to cultivate your inner worlds. If you get too focused on this material world, which you guys is really like a world of illusions, I think it can make it hard to feel high frequency, because our frequency is really regulated by how connected we are to our soul. So to live at a higher frequency, it's good to have a strong connection to your inner world, to cultivate that sense of vision within, to cultivate that sense of joy within. And that can be really simple. That could be just through closing your eyes and having a visualization, being able to visualize source energy, or visualizing your guides or your higher self or love or just whatever. But stay connected, like cultivate your inner world, cultivate the feelings within, because the frequency comes from the inside out. You can cultivate your inner world by listening to music, which feeds your soul, and in that way you're putting yourself, like you're nurturing. One thing I love to do, or try to do every day, is nurture enlightened states of consciousness. So whatever it is for you that brings out that enlightened state of consciousness, that higher state of consciousness, do that thing. Cultivate that higher state of consciousness. Maybe it's a particular way of eating that helps to cultivate that consciousness for you, or listening to a particular meditation or your yoga practice, or a certain herb, or it's probably a number of different things. Maybe getting a good night's sleep. Whatever it does that helps to cultivate a higher sense of consciousness for you, do that. Do those things. Take time to prioritize those things and make them important in your life. Another thing that will help you live at a higher frequency is being kind to your physical body, and feeding yourself and washing yourself in a way that feels loving and nurturing to you, being kind to your body. Now, I think that can mean different things to different people. To me, it means putting things in my body that help me to feel very, very grounded and centered and nourished. Putting things on my body that help me feel the same way. Natural things, I think things from nature have a higher frequency. Chemicals, not so much, And so for me, for example, like I used to, when I was younger, I used to use like so many like scented lotions from Bath and Body Works and Victoria's Secret and stuff like that. And eventually those things started to negatively influence my hormones and stuff like that and made me feel really bad. And now what I do instead is I use like natural oils on my body, like almond oil with some essential oils mixed in, and like the act of caring for my body with things from nature, it feels really loving and it helps me to raise my frequency. The act of consciously choosing foods in their whole natural state that deeply nourish my body and feed me they feed more than the physical body. It feeds my soul. It helps me to feel higher frequency, and the appreciation of food as well. Like connecting with your food before you eat it, slowing down, really savoring your food, touching your food, picking like with your hands the fruits and vegetables at the store that feel most resonant to you, eating with gratitude. Oh yes, like that form of loving connection with your body will help to raise your frequency. Another thing that will raise your frequency is consciously feeling connected to everyone around you. I like doing this. I like consciously doing this. It really helps to raise my frequency. So, for example, earlier today, I went out jogging, and while I was jogging, for each person that I passed on the sidewalk, I looked them in the eye and I kind of consciously thought to myself, what is this person reflecting within my own being? I consciously took time to think of each person as a part of my own self, as a part of the same greater soul over soul essence, perhaps, that I'm a part of, as the part of the same whole from which I also emerged. And that made me feel really, really good. And that raised my frequency. Whatever it is that helps you feel connected to others, remind yourself of that. We mentioned this a little bit already, but speak kindly to yourself and others. Just take that time to be a little bit extra kind. Take that time to pay the genuine compliments to yourself and to others. Take times to wish people well. It's the simplest thing, but it makes a big difference when you're ending a conversation or an exchange with someone, just to say, I hope you have a really good day. I hope that this is a blessed day in your life. My husband Zaire always does this, and it's one thing I really like about him. Whenever we exit an elevator, for example, we've got an elevator here in our building, and he always says to whoever's in the elevator when we're getting off, I hope you all have a very blessed day. And that is a way, like wishing well to others when you don't have to, but just because you really do want the best for them, that will raise your frequency. Another thing that will raise your frequency is saying no thank you. No thank you to gossip and rumors and talking down. So it can be common for people to just critique others for no reason, or to gossip about others or say unkind things. And one thing that will help to raise your frequency is staying away from that. Whether it's on the TV, maybe like just not watching that sort of gossip stuff or negative things, or in person, like if a group of your friends, maybe you're at dinner with a group of your friends and they start speaking really unkindly about someone that you can just excuse yourself to the restroom or something like that. Just get some distance from it. Stay away from that sort of unnecessary negativity. Now, sometimes it can be important to discuss issues which really are bringing down humanity or are upsetting us. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about unnecessary gossip and fear-mongering just for the sake of entertainment or conversation topics. Staying away from that will help to keep your frequency high. Another thing that will help keep your frequency high is to honor the plants and animals. To just treat the natural world with respect and to observe the beauty of the natural world. Sometimes when I'm in very high states of consciousness, I will walk by a tree or something like that, and I'll feel overcome with gratitude for that tree and the energetic space that it's holding. Now, I don't always feel that way. I'm not always in a high enough state of consciousness to be able to observe that. But when I am, it's like I see the leaves sparkling, and I can feel that the nature exists at a higher frequency than most people do. Observing that frequency of the flowers and the trees and the river flowing and the beautiful, beautiful birds and squirrels and like everything, like observing the divinity of nature and the natural world. That helps to raise my frequency a lot. Another thing that will help to raise your frequency is believing in your dreams and believing in the dreams of others and supporting others, helping others and being there for others and telling them that you believe in them and that you're joining them in their manifestations and that you believe that their dreams can come true, and treating yourself the same way, supporting yourself in the dreams of your heart and soul. This will raise your frequency. There's nothing quite like being a good friend to somebody else, or helping somebody else to feel confident in themselves. When we bolster others and we raise others up, it also raises us up. And that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. We're all in this together. We're all equals. We're all souls. Everybody has the station that is helping to serve their soul the most at this time. And a lot of times it's people who don't have a lot of status that have the most vibrancy as a soul. So just treat everyone with respect and kindness. The final tip that I have for living at a higher frequency is to exercise your creativity. The energy of creativity is an energy that is very close to our soul. And all of us have different creative interests. For some people, it's painting, or it's dancing, or it's music, or it's interior decorating, or it's working with the tarot, or it's cooking, or whatever it is. Take time to exercise your creativity. We all need that. We need balance. We all need balance, Yes, there's times to focus on productivity and logic, but it always needs to be balanced with a focus on love and creativity. So consciously work in those things which help you to feel creatively inspired. That's a little bit about how to live at a higher frequency. I hope you guys have liked this video. I hope it gave you, those of you that asked for this video, I hope it gave you what you were looking for. Sometimes I don't know, but hopefully you've all enjoyed it. And if you have, please feel free to come back any Tuesday or Friday for more videos here on the Maya's Dream channel. So thank you again, and namaste. Bye.